What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to the channel. So today I thought I'd just do like a little tour of some of the new stuff we set up recently and some of the old stuff as well, because I think that deserves a mention because it's doing really good. But yeah, recently I've been setting up some new tanks and I've been adding more nutrients into the soil or to the substrate or whatever than I usually used to do. This is because I was always a little bit worried about free-floating organics in the water column causing algae. Well, this isn't the case at all. I mean, if you get them locked right down, right at the base, all they do is make your plants go crazy and they look so good. Now, I have been doing this for a couple of years now, and I was always fearful of algae and too many nutrients. Keep the nutrients low, keep the nutrients low. Yes, keep the nutrients low in the water column, but don't keep them low in the substrate. Keep them locked down and high. That's what you want. Even in low tech, it's working so good, providing the light isn't crazy high as well. Now, this is great news for lazy people like me who doesn't want to be cleaning a fish tank every single few days or whatever. That is not enjoyable, and for me that's not a hobby. So what I like to do is basically leave a tank for 2 to 3 weeks and then do a maintenance session. I find that's enough. I find that I can enjoy it all then, watching it grow, and that for me is really fun. So take for instance my Discus tank. That's the only one that gets more maintenance than most, and that's because they have loads of waste. But even then, it's only like every couple of weeks I'll do 30–40% water change and wipe down on the sides. Other than that, it looks after itself. Again, the plants are the key, aren't they? And speaking of the Discus tank, now a few of you had some questions. I won't spend too long because we've just had lots of looks at this tank in the last few videos. But loads of people ask me what temperature I keep the tank at. I keep it at 28 degrees, which is, from what I can tell, is like spot on really. It's really good for the, that's Celsius by the way, I'll put on Fahrenheit here. Yeah, so the plants are absolutely fine. There was a period when everyone was saying, oh, your plants are suffering because it's too hot. No, 28 is absolutely fine for plants. It does mean everything is sped up though, so higher temperatures mean that, you know, metabolic rate of fish, so waste, bacteria, everything is sped up from higher temperatures, so you do have to be on it more, and that's why this one takes me more work than all of them. I mean, it's still not a huge amount of work, let's face it, but it is a lot compared to, say, like a nano tank. Of course, you know how it's going to work, and the bigger the tank, the more you got to do. It's as simple as that. And I do find that when I put more effort in, I get better results. I mean, it's not rocket science, is it? Let's be honest. But if you guys remember, in the last vlog, I planted these nymphoides at the back here. Now look at that bright green. Oh, you're gonna get. Come on. That bright green one. Where's my finger? There it is. That bright green one. And that bright green one is brand new leaves that are shot up. So the darker ones are obviously from the growth being out of the water, and we've already got those new shoots coming all the way up. So that's going to just shoot up in no time. It probably means that I've nailed the amount of nutrients that is required. Oh, I can't wait for that. Like literally, give it a couple of weeks. That whole section is just going to be filled with this, like, it's like a balloon of this amazing sort of lighter green that's kind of floating. Oh, it's going to look so good. So one of the tanks that we recently set up as well was this awesome neon jungle. How good does it look? So the fish initially, you might have seen in the video, were quite sort of scared and they group together. That's what they do, that's why they school normally, is if they feel threatened, they try to be bigger, so in a bigger group, and confusion as well for a predator, I guess. But now look, they're all over the tank, they're looking so good. Now let's face it, neons aren't that special because they're so widely available, they're very cheap as well. Now the thing that I was trying to do with this tank is really bring out the colours in them, so that's why I've done just only green plants. There's no reds. I mean, even the brownness of the wood, you're not even going to see that eventually as well. But they just, look at them, they look amazing. Now so far we've got 0 algae on the tank, which is awesome. I've done 2 water changes and it's only been set up for like 3 or 4 days, so that's probably why. Also, the light isn't massively high, you know, powered, which means we should be absolutely fine. I mean, there's a ton of plants in here. Look at them, they look so good. In fact, it might be a good idea just to give them a little bit of food. Okay, food coming in then. These fish know the tap, look, because I've been trained in another tank. I'll just sprinkle a little bit at the top. Now this is the Aquarium tropical and temperate flake food. What I like about this food is that the fish eat it pretty quickly for a start, but second of all, it doesn't really foul the water. It's not like a dense food. So you want to feed it like pretty much every day I do, a little sprinkle here and there. They get through it in no time. A few bits that sink down, they'll find and seek out. And actually, if you've got like Amanos, they go mad for this stuff as well, which is good. I mean, you know, let's face it, most fish go mad for any food. But particularly this stuff has gone in seconds, and I just like it because it doesn't foul the water, basically. I mean, obviously, if you overfeed it will, but then that's the same with any food, isn't it? This is not a sponsored video or anything, it's good food, why not? So I have also just taken another delivery of new plants, all misted up in there. Oh, come have a look, there we go, look at that lot in there. We've got some awesome ones that I haven't had for a long time. I'm dropping all of this. Some different crypts to the ones I ordered. We've got Hydrocotyle Japan, we got big leaves there of Java fern, so like, I only had the narrow ones, but they're the big ones which will work well for the bigger tanks. We've got some tall sort of grassy plants as well. I can't remember the name of those. I'll have to put it on the screen now. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, that's my bad, that's my bad. Whoops. Oh, but still, yeah, it's not broke, we're all right. So that just slots, this is not going well. There we go, we're all good. Fine. And over in the other plant storage area, I got loads more as well. I got an absolute ton of Bucephalandras. I've got the red and the green variety. Even though they're all green, it says red and green. I don't know. It goes more sort of reddy. That filter is really noisy. Do you mind? Let me sort it out. I think I know what's happened. So the suctiony flow thing, yeah, it's being covered up down the bottom, which means it's trying to pull all of the water in from the top sort of skimmer. Well, if it tries to pull it all down that way, the suction's too strong and air gets in and just continuously shoots out bubbles. Easy fix. And I suppose we should use this moment to take a look at the new Bolivian rams. Here they are. They've coloured up way more than before now. Look at that. Looking beautiful. So there's one. Where's the other ones? Okay, there's the female. And there should be a third. I did just see it 2 seconds ago. Oh, there we go. Just peeped up around the corner. So yeah, I think we've got the two females. There's one female there. That's the male, I think. And then there's the female as well. So these two seem to have paired up. They're always together. The other one is just like, oh, don't forget about me. Maybe I should put more in. I've got two in my tank at home that are doing so good. Just the same size as these, actually. So it might be a good idea to bring those across. But yeah, so recently I've discovered the absolute best way to feed a tank like this. Watch this. Right, what you want to do is take your food, basically pinch it into your fingers, and then if you've got a power head like I have in this tank, literally dangle it above the power head, and look at that, it just sprays it everywhere for the fish. Oh, I forgot to tap. They do the tap, so they associate the tapping with feeding time. Look at that, I just keep sprinkling bits in more and more, drags it all in, spreads it all over the tank. And obviously we can't forget about our little cories as well. So for that we've got these sinking pellets, which when you first put them in, they all try and go for them. But yeah, I tend to just give them like a sprinkle on the surface of the water. They give it a little nibble, and then most of them just don't bother. I think the Colombians are big enough to, you know, take a decent bite out of them. But, oh no, that one actually got quite a few there. Okay, I'm just watching to see how many actually reached the base of the aquarium. I think quite a few did, but I'm going to sprinkle a few more. I mean, at the end of the day, there is a lot of fish in here, so we need to make sure that those bottom feeders are getting the nutrients they need. And definitely after that second helping then, I can see them all now, all the panda cories down there. So some of you may have noticed all these different things sat around here. This was from Timmy's old tank. It's just working. I just put a little bit of water in, plonked it in it. It's growing lovely. I've got a big collection of Anubias petite here to use in future setups. Just look really good and work so good. Just stick them on the side in some pots, little bit of ambient light, and they just keep growing and don't get any algae. This one's got, what's that? That's trident fern. Oh, there's a bit of Bolbitis in there as well, I think. And then we've got more Anubias, but that's the larger variety. So yeah, it just looks good as well, doesn't it? It's nice to see, rather than just putting them in a dark bucket. You can have them as part of a display. Why not? So in a recent update of the Sparkling Gourami Aquarium, there was a little bit of an issue going on with some algae. That's okay, it's a startup aquarium, there's going to be a little bit of that, isn't there? So we added in five or six, something like that, Amana shrimp, and I'm pleased to tell you it's worked a treat. The tank's looking great again. There's only a tiny little bit of thread algae left, and that algae is dead. I know this because it's got like a whiteness to it, so it's white and stringy. It just means, you know, it'll get picked off in time. Now the tank's really progressing quickly, it's starting to thicken out and look really good. This is what we wanted. I am going to stay on top of the trimming with this one, because quite often when I set up these nature styles, I just turn them all into jungle aquariums. We don't want that. We don't want everything to be a jungle. We want the jungle to be a standalone amazing thing, and then we can have the nature style ones like this. Low tech nature style, mind you. There's no CO2. I don't use CO2 in any of my tanks. That's not because I'm trying to be like holier than thou or anything. It's just because A, I can't be bothered to set up and monitor a whole CO2 system, to the increased risk of me poisoning the fish. With so many tanks, there's too much going on. And C, I mean, I don't know why I'm doing numbers for... I don't want to have to rely on any outside sources for me to run my whole two studios. Like, if a CO2 runs out, I've got to go somewhere, get it. It's just an inconvenience. So those are the main reasons I don't use CO2, guys. And also, I just love the challenge of not using it. So yeah, here's how we're going. All fish present and accounted for. There's the endlers. 2 of the sparkling gouramis are there. And there's the 3rd one. We've got... straight away, look, Amano's getting to work on different areas. You can see that already the Rotala that I trimmed back before is already nearly grown to the surface. Overall, all the plants have got like a darker sort of colour to them, except for new shoots. Look at that, at the back of that dwarf hairgrass, new shoots. And also down the foreground here I saw, yeah, look at that. New shoots coming through, which means it's all growing, which is great. But, guess what? It's too bright, there we go. The, what's this called? Salvinia. The Salvinia's grown back in no time again. I took nearly all of this out. There was just a tiny little bit in the back corner. It grows back, but that's okay. That's what we want it to do. Once we get even more established with the plants in here, we can then take them out completely, to be honest, and just rely on the cover and the thickness of the front of the plants, not the fronts. So yeah, I mean, the tank actually looks better than it. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to tidy it up. I'm going to get some of that out. The Salvinia. I'm going to clean the glass down because there's actually quite a little bit of dust algae as well, despite the fact there's barely any light coming through. I mean, I did pack this thing out with nutrients, so you would expect that, but that's fine. It's all new setup. Overall, wow, I'm so pleased. There we go, looking really fresh again. I won't bother with any plant trimming this time. I'll wait till the next session for that. You know, I'm going to do the first trimming of the mosses on the edge, because that'll get them to grow back sort of more compact and also keep them attached to the wood, if you like. And I'll do the Rotala next time. Some of these... oh, there's a little bit of pearlweed. Look, this crept into this. I didn't even know that. Oh, I'll get it anywhere, won't I? But yeah, really pleased with how this one's going. Another great start. So what are these new plans for the aquariums then? Well, behind me is my African cichlid aquarium, Lake Tanganyika. It's been going for a couple of months now. I'm done with it. Now the issue is, I love the fish. The fish are great, they're great to watch. But for me, a tank is more than just fish. I like the environment, creating a really cool environment that changes over time and adapts. That's why I like planted tanks. Now, I'm glad I've given it a go. I've enjoyed the process, but I think I'm going to take the fish back and do a whole new African river sort of setup. The reason I'm going to take the fish back is because they are not suited to the type of tank that I want to create. That's not how they live. They dig up all the plants, so that's not going to happen either. And I just think it'll be so much better for those to go to another home, to someone who's interested in this kind of thing, and I can bring in other African cichlids that are used to plants and things like that. You know, for instance, my crebensis with the babies, they'd do better now in a bigger tank, and I think we can add add those to it as well. We can just do, you know, native African plants. We've got the Bolbitis, all the Java ferns, all the Anubiases. I mean, it's going to be sort of like a simple style tank, but it should look so good when it's done. Now the tank is doing really well, don't get me wrong, but I so badly want it planted that I've deliberately just been leaving this algae to grow because I thought it looked nice. Like all the glass, perfectly clean, great surface agitation, so there's no scum anywhere at all. But I just thought it looked nice, so I left it. And I'm thinking, well, look, if you're that worried about having greenery in your tank, then why don't you just do another planted tank? I mean, there's so many options I've still got to do, and I think an African river sort of system, like I've got the Amazon river system, this would be an African one, and I think that would be a really good sort of nod to a different continent, and it just means we can keep that theme going of the African fish as well. Although these ones will go back, they've been great, especially this bad boy. I absolutely love the Bacardi, is it? The Bacardi Breezer, that's a drink. So when it comes to doing YouTube and keeping a lot of fish, you have to just do the things you enjoy and love, because otherwise stuff gets left. It's just, you can't keep up with everything if you're not absolutely passionate about it, and that's another reason why I want to switch it out. I love doing my planted tanks, I love doing the big setups as well. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully you guys are tuned in for it and excited as well, and I'll see you on the next one.